Hi, this is Sami from KREATOR and you're watching Stormbringer TV.
Hi, Sami.
Hello, hello.
Good to have you here. Good to have another perspective of KREATOR, because we all know normally Mille is doing mostly all of the press stuff. How is it for you to do now the press duties for KREATOR?
Well, like you said, Mille usually does the interviews, but he's in the gym now or somewhere hanging out in the hotel. But it's nice to be here in Vienna and everything's going smooth. Thank you.
Sami, you're by far the guitar player in KREATOR who is the longest in the band. It's now 11 years since you joined KREATOR. What's the secret behind the combination of Sami on guitar and KREATOR? Is it the chemistry between you and Mille, and of course Ventura and Spisi too?
Well, I guess maybe the secret is that I live in Finland and the other guys live in Germany. I don't know. No. I mean, but we have a good time on tour and we enjoy making music together. Maybe that's one secret of the longevity of the lineup, and it's just I enjoy doing this, and you know, yeah.
The first album you were part of KREATOR was Violent Revolution back in 2001, which is for me some kind of change in KREATOR's career. I mean, Outcast and Indorama were okay, but for me, especially Violent Revolution, marks the return of KREATOR to this relentless, straight trash tunes. How do you see the album now, 11 years back?
Well, I think it turned out very well. I mean, it was the first album that I did with KREATOR, and to be honest, I flew in straight to the studio and was more like decorating the stuff that other people had prepared for me already. But after that, I've been more concerned with also, you know, practicing with the band in the rehearsal room and also arranging stuff together. But if I look back at that time, I mean, of course it was a kind of a change in the band, because 1/4 of the band there was a new member involved, and of course it affects the sound and so on. But yeah, it was a nice opportunity for me back then, for sure.
We all know that Mille is mainly responsible for the creative stuff when it comes up to songwriting. So I'm curious to know, how big is your influence if we talk about an album like Phantom Antichrist now?
Well, I would say it's like 1/4. I mean, everybody brings in riffs and so on, but the main song ideas, they usually come from Mille, and he writes also the texts. So it's fair to say that he's the main songwriter for sure. But you know, when it comes to arranging, the whole band is involved, and you know, but it takes a very long time with KREATOR always to prepare an album, because music is not written down in the you know, the traditional sense of writing down music. It's more like making demos and listening to them and then throwing stuff out and rearranging, and then it takes a while always.
When it comes up to your solo work, do you have the complete freedom to do whatever you want, or is Mille there and says, no, you have to do this or they have to do that?
No, of course. I mean, the solos is something that the solos are something that you have to have freedom to do yourself, otherwise you might as well forget it. The only thing that we kind of want from each other when we are playing leads is that to avoid blues. You know.
You're not into blues?
I am, but it's not evil.
But KREATOR's not an evil band, is it?
Of course we are. Oh, sorry. Yeah. To avoid the blues, it's more like having a plan and making a solo more like a composition, a song within a song. It has to have a beginning and a middle parts and an end. You know, so that's what I mean with avoiding the blues, is meaning to avoid too much improvisation, although it always starts from an improvisation point, but still, you know.
I looked at the touring schedule from KREATOR and I found out that you will play in January. You're booked for a festival gig in Tel Aviv in Barbie's Club. How is this for you now with all this Gaza crisis and the violence behind that? Do you have any retentions or even fear to go there and play, or just wait how the situation will develop?
Well, we were just talking about that yesterday, and yesterday was like a ceasefire with Gaza and Israel, but I don't think it means anything because people are going absolutely insane there at the moment. They're recruiting all the people to the army, the people to you know who are reservists and so on. I don't think it makes sense for us to go there right now. I think we should wait until the situation calms down because Hamas has the rockets now which reach Tel Aviv. And Tel Aviv is where we're supposed to play the show, and it's a state of war. I don't know, I think I'd rather skip it, to be honest. Or wait. I mean, you know, wait until the better moment is over there. I mean, we played in Israel once before, and it was a great show, and we want to go back for sure. But maybe now is not the good time.
Of course, if we have you here now, we have to talk about other bands you're involved. One of my favorite bands, Voltari, they're still active. Sometimes, yeah. The last record was the cover album, the 25th anniversary, back in 2011. Yeah. And you did in October 5 dates in the Czech Republic. We talked before the interview. You were part of these dates. How is it now, the situation in Voltari? Are you thinking about a new studio album and stuff like that? And how were the dates playing in the Czech Republic?
The Czech shows were amazing. We were in Prague after 2 years and it was sold out. We were really surprised about that. And when it comes to making a new album, where there's this thing about this one death metal opera that we did back in 2000 called Evangelium, and now the manager of Walter is trying to book a symphony orchestra for that, and it looks like there's a small, not the one from Helsinki, but from a smaller town in Finland, there's a symphony orchestra who might be able to do it for a reasonable price. But we're gonna check it out and see how the situation develops, and if it does, that would be the next album. But I'm not sure yet.
Speaking about death metal operas, because even if you were not part of the album back in 1996, the death metal symphony in Deep Sea called Yeah Yeah Die Die. Would you agree that this album, in my opinion, a little masterpiece, was back in 1996 ahead of its time when it was released?
Well, if you consider the fact that it was tuned down to C, people didn't do it back then yet. At least not as much. I mean, some people did, of course. And yeah. I mean, other bands did kind of the same idea later on. But actually, I was part of the shows, and I played some guitars on the album. But then Roope Latvala, who now plays in Children of Bodom, he did some of the guitars on the album too, because I was busy doing other things at the time. But I agree, it's one of the most important things that Valtteri ever did.
You have another band where you're part of, also critically acclaimed Burn Earth, kind of superstar of Finnish something. Back in March you released the second album, The Devil's Resolve. How are the plans now for Burn Earth, another album, maybe more live show, even if it's kind of complicated with the touring schedules of all the guys involved?
It is kind of complicated, but we did a US tour 2 years ago, and we did some shows in Finland. We did Tuska Festival and so on. But Peaceville, the record company, they want to continue. So we're definitely thinking about writing new stuff, and we already got like 4 songs ready. Yeah, but
only 4 more needed for now.
Yeah, exactly. But it takes a little time to get that shit together.
Sami, it was really a pleasure to have you here, to get another perspective, to speak about different project you're in. Any famous last words you have to say?
Well, I mean, just thinking about that we're on tour now, is that our gig was cancelled in Turkey a while ago, and I just make it clear once more that the refund will be for everybody who got the tickets for that show, and the promoter is very sorry, and it wasn't his fault, it was the border control's fault, and we want to book another show for Istanbul later on this year. No, next year.
Turkish guys, KREATOR will return to Turkey.
Exactly.
Thank you very much.
I lost my luck.